So now this guy can swing in, and we will give... This is just like... Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. I'm actually going to show you two versions of this deck, and I'm going to try to go quickly because I think this list is a little chaotic, but there are a lot of new cards that I wanted to try, and I do think that even though there's like a lot of one-ofs and stuff, I know some people don't like that, I do think that when they perform a very similar function, it's typically okay. I do have a sideboard, which I'll show you towards the end of this intro here, that should maybe fill some holes depending on the matchup, obviously, but I have some best of one games for you today. So actually, the older monks are the all-stars. Like, third path Iconoclast is pumping out a whole bunch of tokens, very good as a 2-drop, obviously very important. You also have the Mentor, right? I think 3 is probably a magic number here because there are a lot of good 3-drops that we're trying to squeeze in, and these guys do have Prowess, right? He has Prowess, and the tokens he makes has Prowess. So this can get pretty crazy, especially with probably the best card in the deck, in all honesty, is Narset, the Enlightened Exile. This gives all your guys Prowess, usually double Prowess, as we were just discussing. The other thing is when she attacks, she can cast any card that's a non-creature from the bin for free, which is already huge. But if you think about it, right, that's another non-creature being cast. So that's another trigger of Prowess. So you can imagine, like, you cast, like, you know, an Opt, and maybe you cast, like, a Lightning Helix, you feel cool about that, a Chart of Course, then this swings, you recast a Chart of Course again. That's already 3 spells, so if you have, like, double Prowess on, like, one of these tokens, that's actually 6 power and toughness, right? Now, yeah, great card you can imagine. You'll see that in the gameplay today. Elspeth Stormslayer is just, like, so good, right? Doubling up all these tokens that we're making, which is a lot, and the 0 sort of is just a game ender, especially when all your little dudes are, like, getting a whole bunch of Prowess. So if you can assemble this card and this card, which do curve after each other, you're typically winning the game if it goes uncontested, if they're not board wiping you. Very good. It also has removal, right? So just a killer card. Now, we do have to play a lot of non-creatures, but we do need a critical mass of creatures so we don't just die. And we do have some really good cards to choose from. An actual standout that I'm a little surprised is Rediscover the Way. This card is very good because it's a dig of 6, and what's really cool is, like, that second trigger, you can find a card once you've already learned more about the board state. Like, you have more information, so you can make a more educated decision. Sometimes it's maybe just to find a land, maybe so you can get that 5th land to cast your Elspeth, or maybe just find your Elspeth if you're perhaps flooding or whatever early in the game. Also, that double strike is actually kind of real, especially when they get flyers, when they become flyers. Or maybe it's a dude that, you know, is just a little 1/1, and maybe all of a sudden that 1/1 is now like a 3/3 swinging, and now that guy, they kind of have to block that guy while your other cards connect, for example. Just good card advantage. In combination with Chart of Course, you're finding a lot of cards, and you're doing it in style. Proft's Eidetic Memory, another sort of copy of a 2-drop that's just drawing cards. This can also make your guys very big. Very cool. Now, Opt, obviously, very good because it's cheap. You're going to play 3 of this or 4 of this, I would say, for sure. You also have Monastery Swiftspear because it does have Prowess. We know how good this is. There aren't Monstrous Rages in this list, but there actually is a Trample guy in here that can just get on in, and this is sort of a creature generation factory, almost like the 5th copy of Iconoclast, in a way that's, you know, less easy to proc multiple creatures from, but definitely represents a little bit more damage, for example. Proft's Eidetic Memory acts as like the 5th copy of Chart of Course. So yeah, you also need to have some interaction, so Torch the Towers, taking out those Deep Cavern Bats and things like that, while triggering your Prowess. You also have 2 Shelter by Ghosts. Now, I want to run more of this card, I really, really do, but there's just so many good cards to run. The thing about this too is we don't have so many creatures, so sometimes this won't have a target until a little bit later in the game. Typically that's okay because they'll usually lay better non-land permanents that you want to exile later in the game. So that could be fine if you can just get 1 or 2 soldiers out, then you could try to cast this onto one of those and feel pretty good. In the meantime, things like Authority of the Consuls as well as Trigger and Prowess will gain you a little bit of life so you don't die to like aggressive decks, and of course allows your smaller creatures to swing on in before we can really do the Narset Elspeth combo. So yeah, that's kind of that. Now there are some 3-drops that I thought I'd run more of, but this card's really, really good in concept, and the ceiling is very, very high. I think that because it is a creature itself, and sometimes you'll get it in your hand and it might be the only thing you can cast on turn 3 really. You don't really take advantage of it, and then it's just sort of a 3/3 first strike, which is fine, by the way, especially when they get Prowess, as I keep saying. But, you know, even if this just copies an opt, you're feeling pretty good about that because you're sort of getting 2 non-creature spells cast, which is fantastic. Sage of the Skies is sort of the same deal. I want to fit more in, and what's really cool about this is like if you have an Elspeth on the field and you opt into a Sage of the Skies, you're creating 2 copies because of Elspeth, and that's a 6 power and 9 toughness flying lifelink in the air. You're feeling good about that. They're already flyers, so Prowess is obviously very good. I'm going to keep saying that, I guess. So you have a good amount of interaction, you have a good amount of card draw, other than maybe I want to run more Shelter by Ghosts. And what you also have is you have things like Ral. This is a Prowess Otter. This is also more card filtering. You could maybe work towards the ultimate, but it's absolutely not important because you should be able to cast a lot of non-creature spells, so it's not actually impossible to get there, but that's not how you evaluate a Planeswalker really. But just, you know, pumping out this Otter, feeling a problem, something that they have to deal with, or it can run away with value, right? So pretty good card, I would say, that sort of just sneaks its way in. Now, this card is sort of not synergistic with our strategy because we're trying to sort of swing in, do a lot of damage, blah, blah, blah. This is a purely defensive card. New Way Forward is a killer card, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if this is like the exact build that it fits in, but this can save you. It can completely refill your hand, and if you do get to do that, and then on the crackback next turn, you can probably win the game. But typically, it might be a little slow, a little awkward. Yeah. By the way, we're running 22 lands in this version. I'm going to show you the next version now so you can make an educated decision. But it's very split down the middle in this regard. And I'll show you the sideboard in a second. Okay, so in this version of the deck, things are a little bit more streamlined, I would say. You have 1 less Elspeth in here. So I actually made the decision to sneak in a Season of the Burrow. This can get back a permanent, right, with a indestructible counter, which could be very massive, especially when it's a token generator like Mentor, as we discussed. Very good card, as well as just making 10 rabbits. If all those rabbits survive and then you 0 with Elspeth next turn, well, that's 20 damage in the air, which is pretty crazy, as well as just being a modal card that can exile a couple things, and maybe those things are, you know, they do get to draw cards, but sometimes you can end the game. So I think this is great, especially when you can recast it with Narset, right? So when I say streamlined, I guess there's just less one-ofs, and it's a little bit more straightforward with what we're doing. We still have 2 Rediscover the Ways. I did fit in a Flamehold Grappler because, yeah, the ceiling is very, very high, and it's a new card. War Leader's Call is in here as a 2-up because since we are making so many tokens, this is just like a way of closing the game relatively early, and just consistently doing damage and just being an Anthem is just great. It just sort of checks all the boxes. I think this is really good. Sometimes they'll Shelter by Ghost this or exile an online permanent and they'll choose this. Maybe it just gets destroyed by Get Lost or whatever. You can bring it back with Narset. Even though that's not like super a lot of damage, it will be buffing up your combat step, and next turn you're obviously going to be back to doing damage. Now I did want to maybe sneak in more Caretaker's Talents, which is something in the sideboard from the last deck, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second. This can obviously be huge, but again, there's so many 3-drops that we want to try, and I think that Rediscover the Way is very important for fixing your hand, finding your mana, and just being a all-around good card. So instead of 3 Monastery Swiftspears, we cut 2 of them. We still have 3 Torch to Towers. We still have 3 Ops. We have 1 more Consuls. This is just sort of a slower version. We snuck in a counter, which is really good. We still have a single Quarry Steel Cutter, which is really good, almost the 5th copy here. as I keep saying. And what we also have now is two Elspeth 4-drop Elspeths, right? Because a little bit more lifelink, that's great. Also just flying, which will allow your Narset to actually swing in. As well as, all of a sudden your third path is a 4 damage flyer, which could actually swing. It only has 1 toughness, so it usually isn't going to be swinging, and it's not really going to be blocking. You don't really feel like blocking with this because, you need it, right? So this could help a lot, as well as just being a non-creature spell itself. And actually, this is one of those planeswalkers where it's not too unrealistic to ultimate, and the ultimate is pretty powerful considering how our deck's built. So I think this is really good here. We still have a Ral. What we don't have is as much interaction. We don't have Sheltered by Ghosts, and we're sort of just going all in on the generation of tokens and trying to win the game with flying damage and maybe our new season of the Burrow combo with Narset. And this is just a different way to approach things, sort of. But, just wanted to show you, this deck, this version has more lands. We're running 2 creature lands this time, and we still have a Fountain Port, but this should be a little bit more consistent in terms of just ramping and finding your colors. But I think that having all of our card draw in both of these versions allows us to, make that decision. I think you as a player can make the decision on what type of deck that you'd want to lean towards. So now we're back to this version, right? It looks a little bit more chaotic in a way, but again, they're sort of relatively, the one of Lightning Helix is just another Tortured Tower type of thing. Proft is just another Chart of Course. And this version does have Sheltered by Ghosts in exchange for maybe less, I would say mid-game power. So anyway, guys, we have 2 Dusk Rose Reliquaries, which is probably pretty good when you have a bunch of tokens, right? You have 2 Get Lost, right? You could definitely run some Get Lost in addition to another Sheltered by Ghosts if you are in that type of matchup. Absolutely great. Now, Taigam here is one of the monks that I didn't include that's new. I tried it, but I think the fact that you exile it and it comes back, it's 4 time counters. So you're not going to cast that card for a long time. So really you have a 2-drop that doesn't establish much early mid-game foothold. It can sort of be a game ender when you cast another, I don't know, Sheltered by Ghosts or an Opt or, anything, because any of those examples will trigger your Prowess, which is what we're trying to do, right? So it could be a extra bit of damage later on. Caretaker's Talent, you have 2 in here, because, that could be really, really good in the right matchup. So I think 2 is a magic number there. You also have a Perilous Snare, which is basically a strictly better, Banishing Light. It's just an artifact instead of a Banishing Light enchantment. So, pretty good. You could actually get max speed, but that's not too important. Some extra counters could make a difference, but probably not. Worthiness Calls in here for... I don't know if you're going to really sideboard this if it's not in the main deck, but it could be good, right, if you think that it'll just make your creatures just a little bit big enough. You also have 2 Elspeths in here, which I think are pretty reasonable, but we know what this does. We do have a Season of the Burrow here, right? Sometimes you want to probably sideboard out this New Way Forward. Oh my god, I just had a stroke. And you also have your Jeski Revelation, because this is a cool friggin' card. But in this version of the deck, we only have 22 lands. So I almost thought about adding a land to the sideboard. That could be a thing that you do, or probably you just don't have this in the sideboard and you have another Sheltered by Ghost. Or maybe you have another earlier creature, even if it's just a 4th Monastery Swiftspear. So you do want to double spell for things like Sage of the Sky. You want to take advantage of Grappler, Quarry Steel Cutter, right? So you definitely want to try to be doing that when you can. So something that's 7 mana, even though it's so powerful when it resolves, you're typically not going to get to that point. So yeah, both versions of the deck had a Fountain Port, which is huge for sacrificing our tokens. This just has 1 Restless Anchorages, and it's just a different version of things with more 2-drops. And maybe less mid-game power to late-game power, but you do have 3 Elspeths in this one, so it's pretty hard to build this deck. I wasn't too sure, and I actually just really wish I had more rares. I actually would try to probably run 4 Rediscover the Ways. I do think it's that good in a way. Maybe 3. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out, I suppose. But I have had a lot of luck, and you will see that we do a ton of damage. We win the first game pretty competently. The second game is really cool. And the third game, we're against a Sing-Song Ceremony, I believe it's called. The new 3-drop zombie card for Mono Black that destroys your own creatures. That deck that the opponent played against us was so crazy. It was so nuts. He had like Vein Ripper. He had that 8-drop that brings back all creatures from the graveyard. He played Harvesters of Misery, so he brought those Harvesters of Miseries back. They entered, killed all of our guys, right, with the ETB. It was just a incredibly funny matchup. So I'm including it even though we didn't win and we got totally wrecked. But it was just such a cool deck. It really stood out to me. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with, man. I hope you enjoy the video. If you check out any of the gameplay, that'd be cool. Hopefully, you know, I wasn't too long-winded for the intro. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed Tarkir. Don't forget to like the video, sub for more if you like these kind of things, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, so this should be game 1 of our Jeski Monks. Thanks for checking out the gameplay. You're a rock star. We have one Surveil land. It's alright. We don't have any of our earlier drops when we're playing a lot. We do have a Torch to Tower to buy some time, and I sort of like the Surveil. We do have all 3 colors. Typically that'll happen though. The mana base is pretty split exactly by 3s. This is a great new land. This is like the one that I included. But no, let's just get further into our deck. Hopefully find like a Charter Course or something like that. Proft Eidetic Memory. And then that 3 mana Saga that I can just never remember the name. It's pretty massive, all things considered. Okay, we got some removal though for a Deep Cavern Bat. Can't even tell you this is like the Deep Cavern Bat killer. Sage of the Skies. Now this card, if you can second spell it, you're getting 4/6 power and toughness, which is pretty fantastic. It's also a token, so Elspeth will double that up. There's even more synergy, that of which I can't remember at the moment. Okay, that land was kind of big. So typically I'd want to lay this, but let's see if we can swing and bait some sort of removal. No removal. I almost want to do this, but I think Ral probably is the safer play, and we probably go for the -3 here. Okay, so we can probably get rid of the red. Well, oh, it's discard 2. That's right, and 1 torch. I guess the plans, well, we have pretty evenly split mana there. New Way Forward. Hopefully we can show that off if they end up laying a card at some point this match. That would be good. Good for the opponent. So they're playing dragons. Okay. Presume they're playing the Scavenger Regent, right? So they need that second black to or an Omen Spell. I get it. I was gonna say if that didn't work and it's the rare land of the set, having to do that'd be bad. Whoa, what is this? When this creature enters, it deals 2 damage to any target and gain 2 life. If you damage a player, we discard a card. That's pretty good. That's a nice little Mardu dragon. Oh, I could have put my mouse there. Cool art too. Okay. What does this draw a card on enter? Oh, when it dies. Okay. Yeah, I didn't draw. What am I saying? What am I saying? I think... Okay, we'll just plus. Okay. We'll swing. Okay. Yeah, this is one of the guys that doesn't have prowess, but it's usually totally fine. Okay. Put a counter, make our otter bigger. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff you want to see. The Quarry Steel Cutter, and we also have the Helix, which both are fantastic. Let me think about this a second. We kind of want the second red here. Yeah, let's get this down. Put another counter. The Torch to the Tower will be great. We can double spell next turn anyway to make the monk. It's great. They get the haste, They get the trample, they have prowess, and they get a buff. It's just really good. I'd probably want to add a second one once I get another rare, but to be honest, all the decks I've built this new meta are quite hard because there's so many good cards. Standard is so wide in terms of scope at the moment. So we'll do this before Sarkhan gets the counter. Kind of cool because now the Otter can block that if it was trying to do any damage here to our boy. I think it's got to be the Plains. That feels really bad, but I want to keep all these cards. These are all really good. And we get a land anyway. That's incredible. Okay. Narset. We could have minus, but just do this. You get to be my protege today. Let's see how they block. Let's see if they block the Sage. Hopefully they do. They probably know something's up though, right? Okay, so we can just go face here, right? That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, we could have had the monk swing by doing that first, but I wanted to maybe take out that dragon if I could. And Narset gives everything here prowess. So the prowess then would, take out the 3 toughness guy. This did some extra damage. It has lifelink as well, so we just gained a bunch of life. It's like really good. Narset is incredible. And then like say we have an Elspeth in our hand and we give everything +0, right? And just like they all have prowess. Some of them twice. It's incredible. This is one of the purely defensive cards, but this can completely refill your hand, giving you a whole nother turn, neutralizing something like this dragon if we're low. Oh, and they make us discard the card. Probably. Yeah. That's unfortunate. I wanted to show that off for the vid, brother. Come on now. Come on now, brother. Brother. Dude, another sip of coffee, dude, might go a long way. Oh yeah, dude, that's the good stuff. Yeah, Ral gets so big just with us casting spells, and this thing, see, an opt is, whoo. Okay, so now it's like we can opt. Look at all these prowess triggers, right? Ral gets bigger. Now Ral can -3. Everything's about to get massive. I mean, like, so massive. We could pretty much win the game. That's like a guaranteed card. But let's try to find the Elspeth. No! Okay, give us the Elspeth. Come on now. Give me the Elspeth. No! Okay, we get rid of that. And Narset, we already have one. And now we can go super crazy big nonsense. Boom! Prowess again. Another counter. Oh, what? It's not even gonna die, you doofus. I guess I just need to block. So now this guy can swing in. And we will give... It's just like... Like I've done like 50 damage just with a board like kind of how we had like out of nowhere. Everything got to like an 11-11. It's so easy to do that. It's so easy to do that. Anyway, let's get into more games. Hopefully that was cool. Yeah, Narset. This card, man. All right, so game 2 here with a bad hand. We are not a fan of such a hand. We just have a blue. We do have an opt, which kind of helps. Sure. Because the thing is, if we find a white, great, then we can just do that. If we find a red, great, we can do this, and then, go from there. Totally risky, but the ops, the chart of courses, all of that is pretty massive for finding land. So that, sure, it's both colors. Boring turn. Okay, nice. This just gets removed, but let's be mana efficient, I suppose. And then we can, you know, get this down as we see what we draw. Maybe I should have just done this anyway, because that was a pretty obvious cut down. In fact, I should have. That was a little stupid. So now we don't have a... Bro-shibaba! Bro-shibaba! Okay, let's do this. Yeah, that was the best play. I don't know why I was thinking about landing this first, but... Yeah, so you get this down. They can't remove it, but they're gonna take damage next turn. You'll have to see it. And we can double spell next turn. And then Elspeth is the finisher of choice, let me tell you. Patchwork Banner, their zombie deck. Alrighty. Yeah, I think you opt here so that we make a boy. Right? Make the boy, equip the boy, make a thing. Oh my god! They do have a cut down. Darn it. Darn it, I say. Oof. I mean, do we have 2 whites? We do not have 2 whites. I'm glad I checked that. I almost just made a mistake. But we'll find it. And Fountain Port is very massive. You know, it's a little awkward because we do have a lot of like 3-color cards and whatnot. It is like a one of it's like a silver bullet situation, especially for like mid-range, longer matchups. Yeah. Solemn Simulacrum. Dude, my old roommate used to use, so he would do the same thing every single time. He had Ugin, the original Ugin, the Spear Dragon or whatever. This, Elspeth Conquers Death. He would bring back Ugin after he wipes the whole board. Do it again. This was like the mid-range ramp him up to Ugin card, and he had like a 2-drop that was like so annoying. I forgot. Regardless, I am being stupid. So we do this, and we do this so that we can double spell. It's also Prowess, which is massive. So we're getting in a random nice little 6. They probably block and draw a card, but what are you going to do? We got to swing at some point. And yeah, just allows us to get in with our smaller guys. I think Authority of the Consuls is very important for this deck, especially being a 1-mana card. Easy to trigger all sorts of our things. Okay. Alrighty. Oh my god, what does this do again? When it dies, draw a card for each counter, pay 4, so they draw 2 cards already. That's kind of cool. XX, yeah. That's kind of cool, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna draw a card with the token because we need to find that 5th mana for both of these. Both of them, baby. Wonder what they're at 6 mana. They could. What do they have in their bin? Probably should have checked that. Just that. Okay. Makes sense. Is it a little sad taking rid of our getting rid of our last creature? But yeah, we definitely do it. Let's find it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Long time. Thank you. No, that will not do. That does not suffice. Oh my god. Okay, so we can. Let's opt. I should have tried a course first, but it'll be okay. That is good. Yeah, I kind of want that for taking out one of those virtues. Yeah, we'll do this. We almost don't want to swing though. It's kind of weird because hopefully we find a torso tower. Ooh. Oh no. Probably the blue. That makes sense, right? Okay. Yeah, we will use it now. We will use it now. want to start getting our damage in, and yeah, they might not even have the mana for the Virtue, so we just kind of have it stuck in our hand, and next turn we just want to get our 5-drops down. They do have the mana, though. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Oh, wait, they had the Patchwork the whole time, dude. That just dies. Lovely. A little anti-synergy there. Do I have that second white, man? That is truly something over here. We will probably just make a token with Fountain Board. 100%. 110%. Whoa! It, like, highlighted like I was going to take damage, but sorry, I could just do all sorts of things with that. Okay. Treasure so we don't take any damage, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Okay. This might seem weird. Okay, I'm going to kind of bait something here. Yeah. I'm going to kind of bait something here and just do this. Okay? They're going to swing with that Zombo. And then we're going to draw some cards. It's going to be glorious. Yes. I don't know if that's the right play. Could have just got Elspeth down, but... Getting more cards is pretty good. Swing! They didn't swing! What an animal! Why wouldn't they swing? Oh, because it's their only blocker. That makes sense. What an animal! Alright, let's... I'm sorry. Let's get a fish. Sure, let's get a fish. Yeah! Okay, I'm not messing around this time. What's up? Prowess. We're actually gonna... Well, if we zero, then they can swing in... yeah, but if we zero... No, yeah. Does this hit Planeswalkers? Yeah, okay. Then we zero. Okay. If we... We can swing here, and then... So this is 2 damage, 5, they get plus, yeah, we have to swing with both, that's kind of annoying. Yeah. Sorry, that should not have taken me that long. Oh, I could have just done this first. Right. But you know what? Now we have blockers for our Elspeth. All part of the plan. You know what I mean? It's all part of the plan. Yeah. 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 That's actually alright. We might even just double block a zombie. No, I should have done that first. Taking out the zombie. I didn't even need the... There was like nuance to all that. That was probably a little silly. Oh, they get our mentor. Oh my god. How could you do such a thing, Sir Fish? Sir Fish! Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Ah, dude, let us do it. Alright, so it should be game 3. I think that second game was a little dull, but I'll probably include it. So let's go for it. We do have 2 of our 3 colors, and we do have the Iconoclast, which is great, and we can lead with an opt. There is a debate, like, not a debate, but there's, you know, could be a reason to keep the opt to trigger our Iconoclast, but I think just, what is this? When it dies, you get a treasure? Wow. Yeah, let's try to find our thing. Let's just be mana efficient. We'll find more cards we can cast. So, yeah, we get this down first because we, yeah. Well, they are playing black, so maybe it would have been better to do that. Maybe. When it dies, create a treasure token, and it's a 0/4 defender. That's pretty decent. No, it's not that good. I think he just gets this down. Oh my god, my throat is like itchy. Excuse me. Sorry. Wowzers. Alright, Makunzo. Makunzo? Manzuko. Sorry, I'm tripping. Just saying random letters. Oh my god, okay, cool. First time I've seen this. Yeah. When a creature enters, if you cast it, destroy it. So what just happened? What did they destroy? Oh, they destroyed another wall. They get a 2/2 and a treasure. That is very cool. That is very cool. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's do... Let's just get this down, right? I was just thinking we can't even swing in really, so I think this is better actually in this moment. Great, no swing, and we feel good about that. Yeah. Wow, a Simulacrum. This is cool. This is cool, because that was just a 2-mana Simulacrum. It dies, they immediately draw a card. Simulacrum is perfect with this. That's... Dude. That's cool. Cool deck. When a creature dies, if it wasn't a demon, return it as a demon. Oh my god. Wow. Dude. Nice. This is sick. This is sick. Do we swing here? No. Not really. We don't really need all these Torch to Towers, do we? Alright, tapped. This is... Okay. Just thinking. Just thinking. We're big thinking over here. Oh my god. Wow. That is not what I wanted to see. Let's bargain. A goodbye. Yes. It's good, but not right now. Alright, so stuff like Vein Ripper is tough. Oh, but it just dies, that's right. They have to do it. That seemed not very good. Everything else seemed very good except for that. But that's just the constriction that that card provides. Okay, so you do this time though. This is fine. Now you Charty McDarty so that this can come in and swing. Yeah. Probably Swiftspear. That's not completely necessary. No, we can't just swing with one creature because we just have the wall right there. We're just trying to get that 5th mana and fly over and go crazy. What is this? This is that scary card. If you cast it, each... No. Oh my god, dude, this is so sick. And then the harvesters that they had, they've been making treasures, they get this back, they get their Vein River back, and the -2 from the harvester, and then this is still here, and then, oh my god, the Vein River triggers. Dude, what a cool deck, dude. Sib Sig Ceremoninia. So dope. So dope. I don't even care if we lose this. It's just too cool. Bringer of the Last Gift. This card, every time it The art is so, honestly, so stupid. It's not good art, I don't think so. Sorry to whoever made this. It's just corny. Like, what is... Are those its wings and the bones are weird? I don't know what the background is. Alright, here, you see? We are completely goobed. Yes, we're completely goobed. Okay, cool. Good game. Dude, so dope. That was so dope. Wow. Wowzers, Bowsers. Alright. Probably call it here. I want to get the video out. Yeah, so the second game really was a good showcase. That was hopefully at least entertaining, even though we didn't really get to do much. And we were really stuck at that 4th mana. Not that it would have mattered. This was certainly a unique matchup, so I don't think we're... This was a great deck. This was cool. This was cool. I don't think you're going to run into stuff like this too often, though. But you could add... well, really, if we just had our Sheltered... our... What the heck hits non-land permanents? I guess we have a sideboard as well with more cards that do that. So really, it's just kind of the Shelter, right? Am I missing something here in my head? Yeah. So maybe we need more Exile non-land permanent stuff, because that card single-handedly popped off. So, sheesh. But alright, guys. Much love. Hugely appreciate you making it this far. You're a rock star. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Like the video, sub, all that jazz. Have a great day.